Okay, guys, so today is our actual last day of reviewing specific concepts. And then all next week is our last week before our test, and we are going to just be doing mixed review over everything we've learned. So, tomorrow is your quiz, and it's going to go over, or it's going to cover all of the things we did this week. So percent, modeling and solving equations and inequalities, and then today's concept, unit rates and proportional relationships. Okay, so it's covering pages 42 to 47 if you want to go back and review and make sure you did all of your problems this week. But today we are on page 47 for unit rates and proportional relationships. Okay, so one thing about these concepts, so when we're talking about a rate, we're talking usually about a ratio. And so for unit rates, these are problems that you generally need to set up a word ratio for. Okay, so for example, unit rates would be like miles and hours. And so it would usually be I traveled 200 miles in 4 hours. How many miles per hour, right? So you would set up the proportion. I said I traveled 200 miles in 4 hours. So how far did or how many miles did I go per hour? Okay, so 4x equals 200. 200 divided by 4 would be x is 50 miles per hour. Okay, so that's the type of problem that unit rate is. And then proportional relationships, kind of already went over this. So if you look on your formula chart and you see proportional relationships, then you're going to know we're talking about k equals y over x. Okay, so proportional relationships, K stands for your constant. Okay, so if we take a look here on our first problems, it says Sheila pays $27.30 for 14 markers. What is the price per marker? So price per marker, it's telling me the two situations I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with price and I'm dealing with markers. So I'm going to write my word ratio, price and markers. Okay, and then I'm going to set up my proportion. Now, as long as you use your word ratio and you're consistent, it does not matter which one's on top or the bottom. Okay, so if it says 27.30, that's a price, so that's going to go on top. And it says for 14 markers. Well, that's one situation, so that's going to go over here together. And it says, what is the price? So I don't know the price per marker. Okay, so if it doesn't have a number in front of it, we're assuming per one marker, so over 1. Okay, so these top two are the same type of problem. And then if we go here to the third problem, it gives us an equation and it wants to know the constant of proportionality for this relationship. Okay, so the constant, again, is k equals y over x. So they gave us this formula here, but we need to first get y by itself, because when we have an equation, it's y equals kx. So we only can have k as a number, all right? So if I have 3y equals 5x, I need to get y by itself. So to do that, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I have y equals 5/3 x, right? And then k equals y over x, which is the same here as this here is my constant, right? Constant is right here next to my variable. So it's J. Okay. And that should get you guys started on these problems. Okay, so here's the deal. We don't have many problems today. So this is kind of your catch-up day. This is your study day, your review, your catch-up day. So on the front of your paper or your booklet, I've gone through and written your missing assignments. So I will either say like missing, I don't know, we'll say page 28 to 29. Or I will say correct page 36 to 37, okay? That's just an example. So I wrote this on the front of your book. So that is what you should be doing if you finish or when you finish today's assignment, okay? Now, once you go ahead and finish it, then I want you to make a note next to it and say, grade me, or you can say, done. Either way, I know that you're finished and I know that I need to go back and grade it. If you don't write anything on the front, I'm not going to know that you made corrections and that I need to change the grade in the grade book, okay? So once all of the things on the front of your cover are finished and corrected, then you can work on your Think Through Math lessons. Guys, you need to have gotten at least 8 of them done. So it's really 8 to 12 Think Through Math lessons this 6 weeks. All right, so once you finished all of the problems in your workbook, because remember, we can't take our workbook home, we had to come in for tutorials. We're only working in our workbook today. Once you've finished all of that and either Mrs. Pierce or the sub have checked that you finished all the pages that I put on the front of your paper, of your workbook, then you can go ahead and move on to Think Through Math lessons, okay? So please make sure that we're being productive today. I know that we're a little bit light on work today, but the goal is for you to get all of the pages that we have done so far complete in your workbook. So I crossed out the problems that weren't good. You can leave those crossed out, but everything else needs to be done, and it needs to be done today. So when we move on next week, all of your assignments should be completed and corrected. So get that done, and don't forget to make a note on the front so that I can check it, and you have your quiz tomorrow. So we should be preparing for that. Have a great day.